I just, the other thing that I would point out is a lot of these people, they've been using Timberline for 217 months, and now they're gonna migrate off of it, and what I see a lot of is, hey, I want to change the structure of my chart of accounts. Hey, I want to change the way I do my work breakout structure. Hey, and so what we end up having to do is we end up having to map those changes. We have to map the change of the chart. We have to map the change in the work breakout structure. And then they come along and say, and if these files are populated this way, we want you to create a new attribute. And so and so that's just not migrating data. That's re-engineering data. And again, that just opens up. That's custom. That's custom unknown effort, right? And that's so again, that's when you do the readiness, those are the questions that we ask, and to try and determine the yellow flags that we're aware of.
I'm trying not to start a fight, but I will tell you that that very reason is what I think the real power of migration can do for your history. Is when you dimensionalize it with go-forward attributes and you push it onto the history and you learn new things about your old data. But that's a fight for another day. Here's where I have my 4 areas of risk that I want to share with you, because I think these matter. If you get nothing out of today, here we go. So I have four areas. Modular go-live risk, this is your cutover. C1 destabilization risk, this is what happens when you do your first swath of data and you're going to come back and do more later. I have configuration risk, and then what's called divergence between your implementation and production environments. Here we go. So for your modular go-live risk, the first thing that always bothers me is, do we have undimensionalized OpenAP and OpenAR? Here's what we learned the hard way. This one cost us a lot of money. If you are going to go live and you have commitments that you want to report on properly, please, please, please get your commitments loaded in properly and convert your OpenAP and OpenAR retainage against said commitments, and don't come back and try to do it later, or don't try to stitch them together later. Do it right the first time if you can, please. And you took my point. The $1 committed cost to get started, oh my gosh, that's just terrible. Please don't do that. That drives everybody crazy. Theater management. So people think data migration is just about databases kissing and pushing one into the other. That's not how this works, folks. What I want to tell you is the real hard work in data migration is keeping the theaters of operation stable. So I've got a theater of operation in my legacy system where data is continuing to be built. I've got a target system that I've now also got to manage, where I have implementation and a production environment, and I have to keep them all stable, because my goal is to always use the same load files that you validate in my target system, and I can't have unknowns coming from my legacy system. That means we're managing implementation, we're managing integrations, we're making sure that whatever you're generating in the old system is exactly the same data that's been validated, and it's not changing over the months. And so please, 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 be responsible and have a great plan with your partner to not change data that you're already in the process of migrating, because validation is your friend. And if you don't have a really great validation methodology that grows through time, it will take 3 or 4 times longer, and we don't get paid by the hour, but the people who do are going to get rich. Okay, configuration risk. This one killed us, Elias. So in the configuration of the target environment, you want to do things like make sure you turn on change management early, because if you load your commitments and your changes aren't able to be managed, then it doesn't matter if you turn it on later. The beautiful thing about Intacct is that the object absorbs the attribute of the configuration at the time of the load. So please, please, please make sure you lay the groundwork ahead of time, and then you can load your objects with the right configuration. And then of course, document sequencing. So you want to make sure that whatever IDs exist in your implementation environment, those are the same IDs that exist in your target environment, because you don't want to be in a place where you have different maps that you have to work between both environments, because that's the stuff that can make your migration double in time and cost. I'm careful. Thank you.
I don't have any.
So, Stephen, for you, a lot of our clients have external systems. Procore is a good example. So they have all this data in Procore and they're moving off of 300, but they want to go to maybe Intacct. How do you plan, how does that impact what you're doing if you have these secondary systems out there that you need to worry about? How do you unhook them and rehook them, or do you?
I mean, again, I can just say, don't make assumptions. You know, as you're doing your implementation process, you know, before you go live, work with those third-party systems. Have them connected to your Intacct sandbox, your Intacct implementation environment, and just test as much as you can. See what the data looks like when it comes over from Procore or BuildOps or service type or whatever platform you're using. And again, don't wait until that go live time. You're looking at live data. So nothing's gonna be better than testing and looking at what the data looks like when it comes into Intacct.
Let me ask one more question and both of them will go. Open or closed jobs. Someone in the hallway asked me this a while ago. Hey, what do I do with closed jobs? What do I do with open jobs? Do I bring both of them in? How do we decide? Is it a WIP issue?
Yeah, our standard methodology that you're telling right now is your open jobs. So whether that be a progress bill for your schedule or any other project, you know, we'll help you with your implementation, bring those over. And you know, and if you do need any kind of closed project information or whatever you might need for, you know, you can have that discussion with our teams. That's additional stuff that we can offer.
So it's kind of your tool. Is that open closed jobs? Is a decision you make?
No, I think what we've been doing is, going back as far as they have an open job, right? And then we're bringing the GL detail, the job class detail from there for open jobs. Some people say, well, I want 10 years worth of data. And so it's a separate process then to go get the closed out, you know, GL and job cost state. So
Third party, Procore's out there, Strategy's out there.
it severely complicates the process. And so you have to analyze what products does Procore have, what are the interfaces, do they have Procore Finance? Hopefully they don't. And it'll make our, you know, if Timberline has been left to be the accounting system of record, we found that we have the data that we need to migrate. If some of those functions have leaked off into third-party systems, now we have to bring that data in that also has to be balanced. If that makes sense.
It's a very complicated question. Both gentlemen I agree with. My take is, for the experience that we've had with Procore migrations, they really have to go first and they set the tone. Like whatever is in Procore, you really have to adjust to, and they lead the way. As far as open versus closed jobs, that was a religious discussion we had for about 2 years, and then we stopped. And we created the concept of the relevant job list. Relevant job list basically says, I'm gonna tell you what you should migrate for your jobs. You're gonna tell me what you care about looking at. So if it's a complement of open jobs and then some closed jobs, we basically give you a list of every job you've ever done, and you give us back the list, telling us exactly what you want to report on, and that's what we build your migration around. Because it was driving us bananas, because everybody defines open jobs differently, closed jobs differently, and we just wanted to stop wasting money and time.
David, same question. So we're running out of time. I want to open this up for any questions in the crowd. Yes, sir.
So we danced around the T in ETL a lot, and that's where the big pain point is. And we were talking about tools. You said tools and 5,500 hours. I would like to know kind of how you're using tools and technology to make this process scalable. It's not VLOOKUPs.
Each of you have a set of tools, I'm assuming, right? From side to side that you use. Some of them sounds like are more commercialized and some of them more manual or project specific, maybe. Is that like?
Yeah, I'm trying to understand if it's, I mean, I'm going to talk about sort of the tools behind migration, like we talked, and how the tools are advancing to make this.
I think we looked at a half a dozen different ETL tool set, platform products, infrastructure as a service type of products. We ended up curating